Good afternoon, class. Today, I'm on I believe today is the 7th. What is today? I don't know what today is.
The 7th.
October 7th, week 7 of our class. We are halfway through. We're almost halfway through the semester. And what that means is that that midterm season is approaching. And when there's midterm season, there's typically stress. And so I want us to just talk about some things from Poverty Inc. last week and not stress you all out for the next assignments that'll be due. So for the agenda today, we'll just have a quick housekeeping. Then we'll have a Poverty Inc. discussion and then Q&A. Of course, I want you to ask questions, think critically, build on your existing ideas, be open to criticism, but most importantly, have fun. All right, housekeeping. Your first exam, I believe, is due next Thursday. It'll be released on the 14th, I believe is what it says on Canvas. And your exam one will be either multiple choice, true, false, or short answer / essay. And it's covering both case studies, the case study of what is social entrepreneurship, and this most recent case study that is due on Sunday. That's not due tomorrow, but it's due on Sunday on the article that I wrote with Dean Shumway and Dr. Agbozaki. That is going to be on the exam. It's going to be a virtual exam, as well as the book, both parts 1 and 2, and I believe they're 3 parts. They're definitely 2 parts to the social entrepreneurship book. And then the video Poverty Inc. Only the first hour, because we did not complete the last 25 minutes or so. I will not ask any questions after the 1 hour portion of the video for fairness. All right. Does anyone have any questions on the exam? Okay, good deal. Case study assignment submissions. I am going to read your case studies that you turned in last week. I'll do that this weekend. I'm running a little bit behind on my grading. We're having a lot of things happening on campus, a lot of other programs. And so I'm trying to manage all of those. So please bear with me there. I'll try to grade those as expeditiously as possible so that you are able to have an idea of what your grades are so far. Because though this is not a 1,000 or 2,000 level course, and I don't have to provide a midterm assessment, I don't have to submit that to you all. I want you all to have an idea of what you all have made based on your submissions, okay? So I will try to get that to you as soon as possible by the end of this weekend so you can have an idea of your grades. Are there any questions? Nope. Lastly, extra credit. There are 2 extra credit opportunities that I want to address to you all. One, you will get an email probably tomorrow on, and it is the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce. And we're hosting a conference on October 29th this year. That's a Friday. It'll be a day-long conference from 9 until 3 of about 7 or 8 workshops. And I'm going to provide all of my students extra credit if you attend these workshops on the 29th. I will provide you a special registration link and look forward to seeing you all at the workshops. I will send you more information on it, definitely by next Thursday, but it's going to be filled with subject matter experts from all over the state of Texas discussing best practices to start businesses across the state. All right. Are there any questions about that? Cool. Well, let's keep moving. Let's talk about Poverty Inc. If you can, again, if you're able to turn your video on, please do so. What are y'all's initial thoughts from the documentary last week?
Well, for me, to find out how they kind of take over certain areas where we actually thinking we're helping, but we're really hurting. And
Exactly.
and then someone else comes in and then turns that into a profit. So that was very interesting to see it in that form. I never
Yeah,
would
it
have
was
thought that it would be like that.
exactly. It was very illuminating to see how people in America or in countries of abundance, America was specific on this documentary, the things that we thought we were doing good for people is actually a detriment to people's countries and their economies. How does that make you feel in our current state of philanthropy? Or I think that Brisa, did you have a were you want to say something? I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I just said it was very open minded. Like I was very open minded after watching the movie. I
Mm.
never thought that giving aid to that developing countries would harm them instead of help them. It was shocking to me because my uncle, he has an organization and he sends utilities and things for hospitals in Guatemala. But thinking about it this way, maybe he can provide some sort of like jobs for them or purchase, like the movie said, like maybe purchase their group and then help them build their business from there on.
Yeah, that's how I took the documentary as well. Initially, when I saw it, I saw how they were being critical of how Americans view poverty, right, and how we are trying to help it, and how there are we're actually pretty selfish and we're not helping other countries. But it also challenged me to think, especially when they were discussing Haiti. That touched home to me because my wife's family is from the Bahamas. My brother-in-law's family is from Jamaica, and I have business partners who are Haitian who are directly impacted by this earthquake. And so he was a business student with me at SMU, and he was telling me these same arguments 15, 20 years ago, how missions or nonprofits will enter a country with an abundance of one particular resource to ruin the economy. But and then it left them worse than um, initially. But he also had that open mindedness. He didn't quit, nor did he say, forget NGOs. What he did was try to figure out how he can educate those NGOs on what those good industry things, how that is being detrimental from an American business standpoint. And so you brought up a really good point in that this documentary helped you challenge the thought of what social entrepreneurship is and how we should impact international or countries abroad. What are your thoughts, or what are some other thoughts on Haiti in particular? I know they spend a lot of time on the solar lights project in Haiti and just the infrastructure with the political upheaval and the earth and natural disasters. What were y'all's thoughts on the plight of Haiti?
Well, their solar system, I was surprised how they came up with their solar system, um, with how they created it and everything. And basically, they were the cause of people getting jobs
Right.
over there. So they were giving back to their area by creating those solar systems, which was good. Versus somebody, well, eventually somebody did come in with the same with some solar systems taken away from what they were creating.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the process of that company, the solar light panel company. What was being done, if y'all could remember? How did that take place, and what was good about it, and then what eventually um, caused some challenges? Someone other than Dietrich.
Um, as for challenges, they did mention that the U.S. sent some solar panels, and then that kind of interrupted their business progress because people were purchasing or people were utilizing their solar panels panels instead of theirs, the ones that they built in Haiti, and that's how they harmed the business.
Yeah, exactly. And if you notice if you notice their example of the company's lights, it looks like it was made by the community. It didn't look bad, but it didn't have sophisticated equipment, but it was very functional. And it showed kind of this organic, this community built type infrastructure. But when the new company from America, and they didn't show the competitor, but I'm assuming if they were shipping these products from America, they probably looked different. It probably looked better. They probably used different materials. It wasn't made organically, so it was probably made on an assembly line, which showed more consistency, in which people are programmed to think that's superior than an organic product. And so a lot of those factors, not just because it was a function of it, but because how people love newer, shinier things. That American company or that other company is not able to be able to survive because of the competition. And that's a big factor in developing countries, right? When we are trying to provide aid or trying to assist people, we can inadvertently cause harm by either insulting what they can create or providing a superior product that will force people to be dependent on us. How does that impact the US if other countries are dependent on us?
Well, wouldn't it be because the US has to give away a lot of things to other countries is like going to take resources from us?
Right, but are we going to be impacted if people take resources from us more than if we give our resources away? Y'all, hold on for 1 second, okay? Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I am back to the discussion. My apologies again, but like I was saying earlier, we're talking about the power of abundance and how the US, typically countries who are developing countries, once they receive resources from the country, they become dependent on the United States or other developed countries like European countries, China, people who are big, who actually need to provide services to other countries in order for us to make money, to be profitable. And so what this video illuminated was that the market or the industry that we've developed in the United States, and philanthropic or the nonprofit, they call it NGOs, non-government organization system that we've created to supposedly help people, is really causing more harm than good in the long run, because we are forcing people in countries to not build their own systems, which could be viewed as us enabling countries to become more lazy and not build their own economy. And so I would like to hear you all's thoughts on that.
I think if at one point the economy of the United States and the surpluses they send to those developing countries, if that crashes one day, there's gonna be many countries like Haiti in trouble. That's what I'm thinking. Like, what is the US doing now and in the future to make sure that those countries that are depending on us keep on receiving that aid?
Well, that's my question to you. Do you think we should continue to do that? Or should we try to change our model?
think we should change the model and teach them. That way they'll be able to grow in their own things that they have to get versus someone else coming in and taking over. Because then they'll
Exactly.
never learn.
Exactly. It's that feed a person a fish, they eat for a day. You teach them how to fish, they eat for a lifetime, correct? And so it seems like our systems have been giving people fish instead of teaching them how to fish. And so that's the dilemma that we are facing currently in this day. How do you think social entrepreneurs can provide solutions for that?
Well, if we go based on the Poverty Inc. video, how the lady who ended up providing jobs for the people there, she showed them how to do the bracelets, or they were doing bracelets. So that could be a really good, point in that. You can always teach it, show them.
Exactly. There was the woman who was from Haiti who the couple who owned the orphanage or the adoption agency, orphanage or whatnot, was talking about how she just wanted to, she was very entrepreneurial, but she just needed to have a way to provide for her family. And she not only did that, she was able to hire her village, her community. And that's a way of improving the quality of life, not only for her, but also for her family and her loved ones, right? So how do you think that solution can be scaled all over the world? And if so, how?
I would say that's a tricky question because we could say yes, but that doesn't mean that everybody's going to be on board and would want
Exactly.
to learn how to do it. So I think it's definitely a tricky question. I wouldn't know how to answer that one.
No, you're absolutely right. And the real answer is it depends, because each country, each developing country have a different set of scenarios. And it is our responsibility to not view them as a monolith or not view them as everyone has the same problems, therefore I'm going to provide the same solution to everyone. That's, in my opinion, the total problem. I think as leaders, as influencers, and people of power and privilege, which Americans have, it's our job to try to solve the problem, not try to infringe or force solutions on other people. And that's something that I took from the video. And it actually challenged the definition of social entrepreneurs, because the video did not view social entrepreneurs in the super positive light, like most people would, like Blake from Tom Shoes. The thought, the business model sounded good, it was sound, but after further research and after a couple of years, they noticed that the communities weren't getting better. And that's because we infringed that type of system on them. And the reason why we did that is because we were very selfish in our view. We thought that us providing shoes or providing services from America, place that there's an abundance to them, can be good. And we take pictures and everybody's smiling. It wasn't sustainable. And people, communities either viewed them as a joke or hustled them. They would smile or they would take their kids into the orphanage, even though they have parents or they have families, into the adoption agency. But they were able to be there so that they can have food, shelter, and have a chance of a better life. Yeah, that's all of those things are in the ecosystem of what we've established in NGOs. And it's our job to not fix it, not derail the system, but to make sure we provide the best solutions to make that system a better way to live. Does anyone have any other questions? Or any other comments on the movie? Cool. Well, if not, what I will do is I'll give you the rest of the time back. Again, The exam will be next Thursday. It will be active next Thursday. I will leave it open throughout the weekend. So from Thursday until Sunday at midnight is when you all will be able to take it. You all will have maybe, I think I want to set a time limit to either 30 to 45 minutes, depending on, no, it'll probably be an hour. I will probably provide you an hour to take the test. But it's depending on the amount of questions I provide on there. But an hour and a half will be max. It won't take 3 hours to take the test. You'll only be able to submit it one time. And once you activate the test, the timer will start. You won't be able to take it off or leave and come back and retake it. Once you start the exam, you have to take the entire 90 minutes to take the exam, or the entire 60 minutes. I will be fair with the amount based on the amount of questions that I put on the test, okay? Are there any other questions? Jocelyn, I saw your text. Yes, the subtitles are still on. I want them to be on so that we can publish it on YouTube. Hey, Brittany, I saw that you missed our class. I'm going to provide access to both last week and this week's link on Canvas very soon so you can take a look at it. All right. Are there any other questions? If not, y'all have a great Thursday.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Take care. Have a good one.